Jeff Meeks and Chris Austin invite you to watch your favorite sports event at the Batter's Box at 43 Hermitage Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. The Batter's Box offers shuttle service to all Titans home games. It's a great place for friends to gather for the game and after the game. So check out the Batter's Box Bar and Grill, and thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Well, everybody, coming up next on Pit Pass, we've got a great show this week. Mason Mingus comes back to join us. Buddy Williams is here. Got a couple of other surprises, and we'll also have a chance to sit down and meet, I hate to say the racing grandma. She might shoot me for that. Zena Jenkins will be here. All that and more coming up next on Pit Pass.
Today's show is brought to you by locally owned and operated Highland Rim Speedway. Visit their website at highlandrim.com.
Talkapolis, the social media TV network for your city.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Pit Pass. I'm Joe Williams with our special guest host, if you will, this week, Buddy Williams.
Good to be here, thank you.
From Highland Rim Speedway. Larry Woody taking a little time off, probably out hunting somewhere. I'm kind of watching my back. I understand it's still turkey season, so I'm having to keep myself covered a little better than normal. Also with us this week, you've seen this young man in the middle. You've seen him here with us a bunch of times, actually, and hope probably we'll see him more. Mason Mingus, welcome back to Pit Pass.
Thanks for having me on.
So, have you recovered from Talladega?
Yes, sir. Still hearing a lot about it. Watched the replay a couple times.
Now, let's fill everybody in. You went to Talladega, qualified up front, ran up front, and the rain got you. Frank Kimmel gets around him late, and then the rain comes. You still wound up second. I was mighty proud to see that.
Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend. We had a good car from when we unloaded off the trailer. We were a lot better than we were at Daytona, and we were able to qualify on the front row. We qualified second, and rode second for a little while during the race, and were able to get around the leader early on the race, led about 15, 20 laps, I think, and kind of settled in, and Frank Kimmel got a run around us on the outside. They weren't staying really good in line with me behind me, and we rode like that for a while. And then when the rain came, right as we were kind of thinking we might have a shot to get around him, they called the race on pit road.
How tough is it to sit there wondering if they're going to make this call or not? Because sometimes you look, you see how hard it's raining, and you just go, yeah, this is done. I really maybe should have made my move earlier. And then sometimes you get, because my understanding was at Talladega, it was one of those, we're just going to stop for a little while, we may get the track back, and then all of a sudden here it came. Is it tough to sit there going, shoulda, woulda, coulda?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was a lot that we could have done before the caution came. We were watching it rain the whole time. It was drizzling a little bit on the backstretch, and there wasn't anybody behind us, I think, that was going to be willing to draft with us to get around Kimmel, so it wasn't much we could do. We weren't going to be able to pull out a line by ourselves at all. So, it wasn't, yeah, we had a good enough car to get around him, but we would have had to have help, and I don't think we had it. And so when we went to pit road, I pretty well knew the race was going to get canceled. It was raining pretty hard, and the asphalt was getting pretty dark.
Now, buddy, you heard what he said there. Yeah, we had some drizzle on the backstretch.
Yes.
Now, you grew up on short tracks. Now you're at 2.66 mile Talladega. It's got to be a strange feeling when most racetracks you go, it's raining at the track. He says, well, it was raining on the backstretch. The rest of the way we were good. Well, I guess better on the backstretch than coming through the corners.
Yeah, definitely. It didn't really affect us on the backstretch. I was getting a little bit, you get a little bit nervous when you start seeing bigger drops, and as we went, the drops kept getting bigger on the windshield.
Can you, in the car, can you feel just even the slightest bit of moisture on the track?
You really can't there. As the run went on, right before we went to caution, you could feel it a little bit through the tri-oval where it started raining on the front stretch. But for the most part, you couldn't feel it a whole lot. The cars had a lot of grip all night.
So what does it feel like when that happens?
It really wasn't like the car was getting loose or anything. You just lost a little bit on the front end. And wanted to kind of go up the racetrack just a little bit, but it wasn't bad. We were still able to pretty much hold the bottom of the racetrack.
Just pick up just a little bit of a push and make you go, hey.
Yeah, kind of makes you question whether they're going to go to caution or not.
Or whether you're going to be the caution that they go for.
Exactly.
And that, that's the other thing that's got to be, kind of fearful in that situation is, we need a caution, I just don't want to be it.
I hope it's not me.
Yeah. Now, you go to Talladega, you run 200 miles an hour. Saturday. You come back, you still got to go to school on Monday. You leave, you drive to go to school on Monday, and as you're driving to school, do you look down and go, oh my God, I'm doing 120?
Not quite. I think my dad strategically got me a pretty big truck so that I can't do that. But you know, it's different going from doing that at Talladega, and then in a couple days here we're going to Toledo to test, which is a half-mile racetrack back to the short track. So that'll be a change.
Yeah, probably top out what, 120, 130?
I'd say probably 120 there.
Yeah, but they always say speed is relative. So you don't really, as long as everybody else is going with you, you don't realize.
No, you don't. And that was what was surprising to me when we first got to Daytona at the beginning of the year, is you really didn't feel like you were doing 200 miles an hour. It felt like any other race. It actually kind of feels a little bit slower than it does on the short tracks because so much is happening all at once on a short track. Where there, you have a little bit, you can relax a little bit more.
Just point it and push it.
Stay on the floor.
Now, which do you like better? Now that you've had experience on all of it, what do you like better?
I mean, I like doing it all. It's different and it changes things up, but I like short tracks, I think. It puts it a lot more in the driver's hands, and it stays a lot more interesting. You know, there's a lot more goes into driving a short track because even a lot of times they're a lot rougher, a lot bumpier, and you know, you're beating and banging with cars around you. Or when you're drafting at Daytona, you're bumping people, but things are never really on the edge of out of control, and if they are, things probably aren't very good.
You're watching Pit Pass. We are live at the Batter's Box here in Nashville. Mason Mingus, our guest this evening for the first part of this show. Mason, as you've made this transition, you've been to the big tracks, you've gone to the short tracks. You went to Salem, which is a very fast short track. You're what, 4 races into the ARCA season now?
Yes, sir.
You're still second in points. You're only 30 points behind the 9-time champion. So, is it beginning to creep into your mind that, you know, maybe?
We definitely have a shot at it. Ever since Mobile, I knew we had a shot at it. We've had really good cars. We had good cars last year. I got to run with my crew chief for part of the season. He came in late to Wintron Racing, and what he's done over the winter has been huge. We've had phenomenal race cars, especially at short tracks. Salem, we drove back to make up 2 laps under green after we got wrecked early and passed the entire field twice on the same tires as everybody else. So that's why I'm really excited to go to Toledo. I think we'll really be able to do something.
Now, buddy, as a fellow competitor, if you were in that race with him, that's got to make you nervous that the kid just, you know, he made up 2 laps under green.
Absolutely. What kind of driving talent is that? The kid's pulling rabbits out of the hat. He is a wheel man.
Well, I got news for you. You passed me twice under green. When this race is over, I'm reaching in my pocket and pulling out a pencil and some paper and some money because I want to know what you got. So, but nothing different. You just were able to pull that off.
No, sir. I mean, you know, the crew that Mark Redd, our crew chief, came in, and the guys that he's put together for this team are outstanding, and they've had so much experience. Mark Redd has won a championship in ARCA previously to this, and coming into Wintron, who already had really good cars. It was just outstanding, and you know, I really look forward to this year. He actually still holds the track record at Toledo from like 4 years ago, so I think that should be a pretty good sign of what kind of car we're going to have.
Mason, what is your thought on using ARCA as that stepping stone? You know, in days past, the career path, if you will, was really pretty simple if you wanted to get to the Cup level. It was go to your local racetrack and then start branching out a little bit, maybe with you know, some of these regional series, and then maybe into a truck, and eventually into what we call a nationwide car. You used to call them bush. I still call them bush cars. And then you got your shot at Cup. The career path is all over the place now. It could be wing sprints, it could be open wheels, it could be almost anything. You think running with the ARCA guys with the full-bodied race cars, the heavy race cars, going to the same tracks, going to help your progression?
Absolutely, and you said the key is the heavier race cars. It's so much different than driving a late model, or even in the K&N series. They have the heavy race cars, but they don't have the horsepower that the ARCA cars do, and that gives you, you know, a good idea of what to expect in the Busch series, in the truck series. The heavier cars was a huge transition, and I think that it's going to be, you know, great for me going to the next level. Hopefully, we're going to get a couple truck races soon, you know. And if we do, I think that'll give me a heads up on a lot of people because I've experienced the horsepower in the heavy cars, which is really hard to maneuver, especially at short tracks.
Good point. Can you stay with us?
Absolutely.
All right, he's going to stay with us. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Mason Mingus, all that and more. Coming up next, live from the Batter's Box on Hermitage Avenue, I'm Joe Williams. He's Buddy Williams. And no, we are not related.
From the family grocery hauler to fire-breathing racing engines, the one name you need to know is USA Motor and Machine, located at 51 Cleveland Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. Give them a call at 615-726-3725 or at usamotorandmachine.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Pit Pass. Joe Williams, Buddy Williams, and Mason Mingus, this exceedingly suddenly everybody wants superstar that we've known about for quite a while. We were kidding you earlier. You've got a list of PR assignments and commitments this week, including this one, that you might as well get your own coach and get a driver.
Yeah, we do. The race at Talladega was huge for us, especially with it being live on TV. It's gotten us a lot of press and a lot of attention. So this week's going to be really good for me, and not only my sponsors, Call 811 Before You Dig and Diamond Equipment. They really jumped on board for us this season, especially Alabama 811 with the Talladega race.
So you got radio to do in the morning, I think. Of course, by this time it'll be over. But you got radio to do. You still got some newspaper stuff, I think, to work with. You enjoy this part?
I do. It's a lot of fun. The more and more I get to do it, the more and more I like it. It's huge. It's really important in racing nowadays, and it's good to enjoy it, I think.
And a lot of times you get a young driver who, and just in case you don't know, Mason's about 18. So when I say young driver, I'm talking about his age, not his experience. But you get guys coming up through, and that's the one piece that seems to slip by. You, on the other hand, soon just kind of said, "Okay, this is part of it. I'm going to enjoy this."
Yeah, it is. And there's so many people that have a lot of talent, but they don't get anywhere because of this stuff. But it's really fun. You can learn to have fun with it, and it's great exposure.
Now, next race you say is at Toledo.
Yes, sir.
So you're going up this week to test too?
Yes, sir. We're testing Thursday, and then in 2 weeks we're going to race there.
So tell me about the Toledo racetrack.
It's a lot of fun. It's got a little bit of banking to it, half-mile track. It's got a ton of grip. It's a really fast racetrack for a half-mile track. It's a lot of fun. I ran a late model there earlier this year just in preparation for this racetrack. I ran there in ARCA last year. Didn't have a great run there, but I'm really looking forward to going back.
Now, there's a big late model race coming up this weekend at Highland Rim Speedway. Friday night, doing some tuners and some qualifiers. Yep. And then on Saturday night, we have the Southern Superstars coming to town.
100 laps. That's going to be big for Highland Rim. It's going to tell everybody that we're back on the map. Speed 51 is covering the race live and going to broadcast that to their internet presence. And we look like we've got about 26 cars right now that have said they're coming. And if we can get everybody up there and get them qualified, it'll be a whale of a race. That many good late model cars running, we'll put on a good show for 100 laps.
How'd you like to jump in one of those 26 deep on a quarter-mile racetrack?
It's awesome. I love any chance I get to do that. That's short track racing at its best. That'll be a great show. I wish we could have got a race car ready for that. I may try to get up there and watch it. It's going to be a really good show.
I was going to say, I know you wanted to, but the car just didn't get finished. But, when you come off a second place finish at Talladega and you're looking to go to Toledo, yeah, some things just don't get done.
Yeah, that's right. We try to get in as many as we can.
Now, every time we talk, I keep putting you on the spot because I'm a huge high school sports fan. You've been running track. Is your track season done now?
No,
You've got more coming, I think.
Yeah, we got regions and state coming up. Hopefully we're going to qualify for state. I ran on a 4x400 team that made it to state last year. So we got the same group of guys. I think we can do it.
When you're traveling and racing, do you keep a practice regime going before you're running?
I try to work out and run as much as I can, whether it's for track or just to stay in shape. My coaches, they work with me a lot. We usually have pretty tough days, and then we'll have a light day. So I try to get it worked out so that I can run my tough days before I leave.
Well, an athlete is an athlete. Whether he's in that race car or whether he's running, he's a true athlete, and he's got to stay up to his best 100%.
Well, I was going to say, Mason, race car drivers aren't athletes. So
Yeah, everybody says that.
I mean, you agree with that, don't you?
No, not really.
Why not? I mean, you're sitting there with one foot on the floor.
Sitting back there and hold the wheel?
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Nothing to it.
Yeah, I know, that's what everybody says, but after playing football, wrestling, and running track, I'd say the only, it rivals right up there with wrestling, and wrestling's probably the toughest sport I've ever done.
It's probably the toughest sport.
Wrestle a 3,800-pound car rather than track it 200 miles an hour.
Now,
In the summer heat.
In the summer heat.
Yeah, and let's explain, when Mason talks about wrestling, he's not talking about, the entertainment thing. He's talking, as a friend of mine, Murray's padding with Tennessee, and says, we're talking about the true 101 wrestling, the way it was designed, years and years and centuries ago. And that's a big difference from, you don't throw anybody against the road. I guess, though, if you're racing, you can throw them against the wall.
Yeah, it's a whole lot like that.
We saw John Townley wind up with getting in the wall.
And we have our heroes and our villains like they do in wrestling. It's not a whole lot different.
The Talladega race was wild. I bet you saw some stuff, hopefully in your mirror, that you just went, ooh, I'm glad it's in my mirror.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy. The wreck right after the John West wreck, it happened right in front of me, and I saw the 99 get into the guy in front of him because they were all loose and spinning, and I was able to move up the racetrack to get right out of his way, but it was a little too close for comfort, especially watching the replay. Everything seems to look a lot closer on the replay than it does in real life.
I was going to say, when that happens, I mean, it's just instinct just take over, or do you have a checklist in your mind? I need to move, do this, do this?
No, it's pretty much just anywhere you can find a space, especially when it's happening that fast.
There's no time to plan.
No, there's not, but that's where a good spotter comes into play, and I've got a great spotter. He's I met him when I started racing ARCA, and he works for Winchon Racing, does a lot of stuff there, but I also try to take him to as many late model races as I can.
How important is that relationship? We all hear about spotters this, and last year a couple of times on the Cup Series, well, the spotter screwed me up, so we fired the spotter and found somebody else. That's that real unique, that personal assistant coach kind of.
Oh, it is. It's huge, and I've had a lot of spotters in the past, and you got to find somebody that you can work with really well and that you get along with. And like, some people really don't like to hear their spotters show emotion, and a lot of the Cup guys, their spotters can't really show emotion and stuff. I like to hear it a little bit, and I like somebody to get fired up sometimes, and gets me going sometimes. But you really got to also be able to trust him to see what's going on.
Have you ever sent a message to another driver through your spotter, a la Danica did a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I've tried a few times. I don't know, he might have been smart enough not to go do it, but I gave it a shot.
Have you ever gotten a message that way?
I don't think so. Maybe, probably not, but they probably told a spotter something he may not have told
And he had
me.
no sense not to tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah, isn't it amazing that it's a good thing to have that buffer up there between you guys?
Yeah, but I mean, you got to have somebody that's also willing to to take your back in the spotter stand too, and go get on somebody if they need to. Happened to us at Salem, so.
More important at a Talladega, a Salem, or a Toledo?
I think it's more important at the short tracks. You see that a lot. You see a lot more rough driving at the short tracks, and you also have a lot more lap cars, and it seems to be the people that you really get mad at are the lap cars that are getting in your way, and we got wrecked at Salem by a lap car. Actually, they got into us 3 times, so.
It's been wrecked. Yeah, that's not an accident. That's a tapper. How do you handle that?
It's definitely tough, and especially because it's somebody that you've already driven by 3 or 4 times, and they potentially cost you the race win. If we were fast enough to drive through the field twice to make up 2 laps, we probably had a good enough car to win the race. And to go 8 laps down in the pits because we're repairing the race car, it's definitely it's tough to handle. It's tough for the team to handle. They've worked a long time on these race cars to get them to where they were.
I trust you weren't parked side by side.
No, sir.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Probably a real good thing. All right, 2 weeks you go to Toledo, right?
Yes, sir.
What's after that?
After that, it'll be Elko, Minnesota. That starts our racing in June. I think it's June 1st or 2nd, and then we run 5 weekends straight in June. And
I was getting ready to ask. It seems like you're getting a break here, a couple weeks here, and it's breaking. Is there a point at which it's like, no, you better have enough cars ready for a bunch of different things?
Yes, sir. I mean, they're getting stuff ready right now because if you get in, whether you tear one up or you just have a little bit of body damage, it takes a little time to get fixed. So you got to have one ready to go, and you make sure you want to have a car good enough, a backup car that's good enough to take the next track and win at.
And buddy, one of the things I always bring up about ARCA is, if you want to get experience in a lot of different things, these guys run Daytona, Talladega, half miles of Toledo and Salem. Dirt tracks. That's still the one that kills me. And
I think our NASCAR truck boys are looking.
They're going to find out
dirt this year, and they see what a good thing y'all have.
You looking forward to the dirt?
I am. I think it's really fun. I mean, I don't have much dirt experience. I only have one race, but it changes it. You know, you used to run in oval, you used to run in paved tracks, and to go to the dirt track, it's just it's a fun race. But on the other hand, this year we're points racing, and the guy we're running against for points, Frank Kimmel, is really good on the dirt.
Well, it's because he's old as dirt. Just kidding, Frank. Just kidding. I'm only kidding.
Kimmel ran chariots in the dirt.
I didn't go. Hey, that was Buddy.
That was Buddy.
Don't get confused.
Joe.
You got my back on this. I cleared that up. I said, didn't I? All right, Mason. Good luck, my friend. We've. I got to tell you, we've enjoyed the Mingus cups. Sweet tea, by the way. We're at the batter's box. You can get a lot of different things here. We've been staying with the sweet tea, but you've and your Facebook presence has gotten bigger too. I meant to tell you that.
Yeah, we're trying to get out there a little bit more. We're on Twitter. You can follow us at Mason_Mingus, and then Mason Mingus Racing on Facebook. And then we've got these hats and shirts for sale on our website now at MasonMingusRacing.com. So we're trying to get our name out there and let people know.
My God, he's a corporation man.
Man did it.
Don't you
He's
love
good.
it? Congratulations. Look forward to seeing you. Hope you'll come see us a couple of weeks, right?
Absolutely.
After it's over?
Hopefully we'll win Toledo.
Bring the trophy. You're not going to smash it or anything, are you?
No.
That's right. He's a smart one. All right. When we come back, we'll wrap up this edition of Pit Pass. I have been looking forward to this. Well, I was going to say the fastest woman at the rim, and that might not be the right way to put it. We'll figure out what we're going to do. Coming up next on Pit Pass.
Jeff Meeks and Chris Austin invite you to watch your favorite sports event at the Batter's Box at 43 Hermitage Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. The Batter's Box offers shuttle service to all Titans home games. It's a great place for friends to gather for the game and after the game. So check out the Batter's Box Bar and Grill, and thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Final segment of Pit Pass this week, and you know it's a big weekend for racing across Middle Tennessee. We've got Friday night, Saturday night up at the rim with the Southern Superstars coming in. Qualifying on Friday night, the 100-lap race is on Saturday night. Buddy Williams told us earlier that there's already 26 cars registered for that. Another big one coming up Thursday night. If you got the time, Duck River is running the Spring Nationals. $4,000 to win on dirt. This ought to be a heck of a show Thursday night. The gates open at 4. General admission, I think, is $20, $30 to get in the pits. This ought to be a great night of action. If you've never seen late models on dirt, Duck River is the place to go. It's located, look this up on your GPS, just punch in Wheel, Tennessee. That's, like turning, wheel. You couldn't ask for a better place to put a racetrack. I want to welcome in Larry Weekly, who has been around the rim and the fairgrounds and racing around here a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
I'm glad to finally say that.
Oh, man. I was waiting on that one.
That was a tough shot. I know. I should have done that.
Man.
I should have done that, too.
That's good. I'm a little older than you anyway, Joe.
Well, I'm glad somebody will admit that.
I have no problem with it.
Also, our special guest, Zena Jenkins, who, you sit here, and I wish we'd have been rolling the cameras earlier because you had so many great lines in the middle of this. Zena is the champion from 2011 in the Rim's Tuner Division. Currently the points leader for 2013. No?
Third.
You're third in points.
5 points out.
Okay, but you won both races.
No, I won one.
You won one.
Yeah.
Thought you won both of them.
No, my axle broke on the first one.
Oh,
I was.
that's right. I did forget that.
Mechanical problems.
Mechanical problem.
Tuners are what? What kind of cars are they?
Front wheel drive. I drive a Nissan. That's basically what it is. 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder. So, fun.
Now, you and another old friend of mine, Toby, old man Toby, seem to have a pretty good little battle going on.
Yeah.
You guys seem like you're the fastest. It's kind of funny because we all have East Nashville in common.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I mean, we all grew up like close together and didn't know it.
Didn't he go to East High as well?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. So, you all got all three East High folks here.
Man.
So that ought to make the rest of y'all nervous. You've come into this thing, okay, so you're third in points, big deal. You're going to take the points lead here shortly.
Yeah.
You got a big one coming up Friday night. This is a rescheduled 40-lap race, which is about twice the normal distance.
Right.
Do you prepare anything differently?
No, not really. It's just like a normal race.
Just going to go a little longer?
Go a little longer, that's it.
Larry, they give Zena a lot of, I say grief. I don't think it's grief, really. I think you kind of like it.
I love
because
it.
She gets, the first time I go up and she gets out of the car, that she wins, she gets out of the car and goes, "Y'all got beat by a girl."
Yeah, that's her good line.
And then she comes back the next week with, "Y'all got beat by a grandma."
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you really want to rub it in on these guys that bad?
I say it all in fun, but my grandkids is the one that got me started saying it, so it just kind of stuck with me. And, you know, the grandma part's even better.
Well, yeah, I love that. Now, you know, I guess the hot topic in racing has been Danica Patrick, you know, the old GoDaddy.com car.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do one better.
What's that?
I'm going to be GoNanny.com.
GoNanny.com.
Go Nanny.
Go Nanny. It sounds better than Grandma.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I like that. GoNanny.com.
Paint your car green and black. Change your number to 10.
No.
No.
Ain't gonna happen.
No.
Are you enjoying this?
I love it. I love it.
Why?
I wish I'd have done it sooner.
Why?
Well, I don't know. My dad had a dirt car when we were younger, and I always wanted to drive it. And he's like, "No, girls don't race. Girls don't race." He always let the brothers drive it. And he's passed away 7 years ago, so he never got to see me. And so on the back of my car, you know, Dad always said, "Well, it's a guy thing." So I put on the back of my car, "It's a girl thing too." You know, just kind of my little special dad thing. But it's just exciting. Now, the first time I got on the track, I was like, oh my God, I raced at Carthage my first year, and as soon as I went over that big hill, you know, because it's like Bristol, you know, it's a bowl, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But it's okay. You know, I watched my crew chief, Dale Martin, my son-in-law, race, and I was like, I can do this, I can do this. And Jerry kept telling me, you know, you can do it, you can do it. So I tried it. I love it.
Whole thing's a family affair.
Yeah, my brother also races. Yeah, he raced rim runners with me my first and second year at Highland Rim. And so, yeah, it's a family thing. I have other brothers that race dirt. I don't race dirt, but...
Are they going down to Duck River Thursday night?
Possible.
Oh, God.
Possible.
Oh, gracious. Would you go down and watch that one?
Yeah.
Would you get in a car if they gave you one?
If it's front wheel drive.
No, it's rear wheel drive.
I might have to practice that.
Have you been in a rear wheel drive car?
No.
I said, I wonder what Larry, you've been in both. What's the big difference?
A lot different. I actually ran her car in the officials race at the Rim a couple years ago. And,
Done well.
And actually run one of the Ryman cars at Fairground, and it steers a lot different, you know, compared to the rear wheel cars. So
Yeah, the front, you know, it goes
yeah.
from the front.
Yeah.
And the rear wheel, of course,
It's a lot
front
different.
moves
There's so
more.
much more
Speed
weight
and all
on the
that
front
stuff.
end with a front wheel drive car because the transmission, everything sits
Exactly.
right under,
Yeah.
or right over the
It's
axles.
a lot different.
Yeah. I'm definitely
But
more
fun.
comfortable.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like, hey, you know, if you're going to go with GoNanny.com, can you run like a minivan or be like soccer nanny or something?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that'd be real good.
I'm up for it though. We'll try.
Drive van. Yeah, there
Just
you go.
thinking. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, you work it out.
Now you're driving a Nissan.
Driving a Nissan.
You finding that you like it as a race car?
Love it. I thought my Neon was really good, but this Nissan is so much. It's like a second faster. I set fast time last week at 15.3, and my other car was like 16.3.4. So it's like, Mom.
Quick math for you folks. 15 flat is an average of 60 miles an hour on a quarter mile racetrack, which, down the straightaways, okay, that's quick. But you got to average that and get through the corners, so you're probably closer to 75 down the straightaways, and it's 75, and we ain't talking I-65 either.
They can't trick them up a lot like, say, Sportsman and the other guys. They have to run, I think, stock gears and all that stuff, and shocks, and I think they can play with stagger a little bit, but it's a lot different actually than it's more actually stock.
Yeah,
what they run. So, but it's still pretty quick.
With one little exception that I'm learning about, and I'm learning this part. And it's basically a tube, but they continue to call it basically a restrictor plate that restricts the air coming into the engine. I understand you and the old man Toby are going to get a new one this week.
Yeah, I think we're a little too fast.
Wow.
Nothing wrong with that.
Does it? How much work you got to do when you go to messing around with getting tubes and such for the?
It's really not bad. It's not bad. I mean, you just got to adjust other places, and I got the best crew chief in the world, Dale Martin. He's so smart on these cars, and he'll work it out.
You know, that's one thing, Larry, and we talked about this once several years ago, that eventually, if NASCAR is going to continue to be the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing,
right?
You know, if I remember the conversation, it was, well, they're going to have to go to fuel-injected engines. We're going to have to look at front-wheel drive race cars. And everybody went, never happened. Well, we got fuel-injected engines now.
Exactly.
Boy, can you
now,
imagine?
if they get a front-wheel drive race car,
mercy.
I'm in there.
If you ever see NASCAR
I'm ready.
go that direction, I'll be shocked. It would be really different, but like you said, when they went to fuel injection, big difference what they run all these years.
Yeah, but really no major problems when they made the change.
No, it's worked out really well. You know, it's a lot different now. They still have the fuel mileage problem every once in a while, but not like they did with the old carburetor stuff.
Yeah.
And these new cars, I'm thinking that the Gen 6 they're running this year is incredible. I'm so glad to see NASCAR go back to the stock-looking race cars, and except for what they did at Talladega, I think the biggest problem they had, except for the wrecks, is a lot of guys were talking about the side draft of the race cars, and I'm wondering probably now that they've got through the Daytona, they got through Talladega, that they're probably going to look at that. I know Dale Jr. for a fact was really concerned with the way the cars side drafted. So, but Joe, I don't care what they do these Cup cars or nationwide cars, spoilers or whatever they do to them, they're still going to have the big one. That's not going to stop anything.
Big racetrack like that.
Exactly.
You know it's going to happen. You guys, I keep waiting for a big one, and you guys say you guys don't mind getting out there. I won't say beating and banging, because I really wouldn't call it beating and banging, but you don't mind rubbing and pushing and shoving a little bit.
That just makes it fun. I mean, you don't want to do that by no means, but at first I was intimidated. I was always so scared to have that big wreck, but, the safety equipment, it really, really works.
And that's the best part. Even as we get down to local tracks, the improvements and those requirements. And the best part about that is you guys as drivers and car owners and crew chiefs understand the importance.
Right.
There was a time when, I want to go faster, I'm just going to put some muffler tubing in. Yeah. Nobody understood just how dangerous that was.
Right. There was a guy actually, I think the first year I actually ran street modified, or the second year, actually built his roll cage out of that kind of tubing.
Wow.
Just so the race car would be lighter.
Yeah.
And you wasn't thinking about what if I get hit hard or have a bad wreck? What's the consequences of that? So I'm really. It's like every time they have a major accident, like we lost Dale Sr., everything seems to step up safety-wise. And then, when they came out with the cars with the big wings on the back and all that stuff, I wasn't real crazy about the way they looked. Safety-wise, they were good, and I think now NASCAR's really done a heck of a job building this Gen 6 car safety-wise, in the way it looks, and everybody seems to be happy with the way it's racing.
Sounds like they take that same kind of plan at the rim too.
Yes. Now, previous years we weren't required the neck restraints, the gloves. Now we are under our new owners, and I'm all for it.
You sound like you're supporting that.
Yes.
All right, Friday night, 40 laps. Got any words for any of the other drivers?
I'm coming for Toby. I love Toby to death. He's an awesome person, but it's just a little personal thing now.
Going.
I've always looked up to him, and I've always thought he was great. So just to even be up there with him, it's awesome.
Well, I got to tell you guys put on a show, and there's about 4 or 5 others. The one thing's been great about that division to me is, we pick on Toby, we pick on Zena a little bit, but there's about 4 or 5, 6 others.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a knot right there.
Yeah.
And it is an extremely competitive little group.
It is, and they all deserve a win, and they all fight hard for the win. and they all deserve it.
Well, the scary part is anybody slips just a little, you're done.
That's the thing I've always admired about local track racing anyway, is everybody's striving to win a race. And knowing that, of course, through the years, Joe, we've all seen it, everybody that comes to race at that track wants to win a race. And a lot of times, those guys and girls will never win one. So Zena's been really good and very lucky. And, you know, as far as what I've always done and you've done, I would love to see everybody that's got in a race car win a race.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming out
Thank
tonight.
you for having me.
Look forward to seeing you this weekend. Larry, good to see you again.
Buddy.
Yeah,
Hall of Famer. It's good to see you, man.
Tell you what, a couple of notes for you. There's some really good news that came out earlier today, and this came out of the fairgrounds, as a matter of fact. Yes, the request for information, the RFI, has been approved and is about to be put out. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to find out who has got some ideas on what to do with the fairgrounds to save it as it sits. Hats off to the folks at Save Our Fairgrounds for pushing this and staying on it. And I think we're going to see a lot of really good ideas, and I just got the feeling Fairgrounds is going to be there for a long time. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Hey, don't forget, Friday night, Saturday night, Highland Rim Speedway, just up I-65 from here, maybe down if you're in Kentucky, that's okay. But it's the Bethel Road exit. You hop off there, follow the signs, and we will see you at Highland Rim this weekend. For Buddy Williams, Larry, Mason Mingus, Zena, I'm Joe Williams. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Pit Pass.
I am woman, hear me roll, in numbers too big to ignore, and I know too much to go back and pretend, 'cause I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor.